Hi there, everyone. Welcome back for a new race today, race 5 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. I am here today with Norman and Jean-David. Good evening, guys. How are you, Norman Chindowski? Welcome
I am
back in the team.
thank you, Antoine. I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to be here. And it's been a couple of weeks off from my end here and been trying to follow the race, but that's you guys been holding up the stick and making everything great. So thanks for being here and making everyone enjoying this incredible virtual sailplane Grand Prix in Pavullo Italiano. So very nice. Thank you, Antoine.
Jean-David, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Antoine. Good evening, Norman. I am so happy to see Norman again. We will have a lot of fun tonight, as we did in previous races. We come in together. It will be so nice.
Great. Well, guys, what I suggest is instead of having a look to the highlights from yesterday that you can watch on our YouTube and Twitch channels, we're going to have an interview, post-race interview from yesterday with Sean Churchill, who ended up again on the second place with a very consistent flight. So here we go for the interview with Sean from yesterday evening. Post-race interview after race 4. It was quite a good race we've seen tonight. Well, we've seen Tim Madsen just sailing in front of the race. It was almost impossible to catch him after turn point 1. What do you think made the difference? How did you manage to get into the second place? Because then leading that pack was not easy at all.
Yeah, I didn't start off very well. I went left with Delta 9, thinking that the cloud would work, but it wasn't. Today was very difficult because the thermals were very choppy, and getting low through these mountains was difficult to navigate. But I eventually got out of it. I think India Sierra Uniform, the guy from South Africa, found a thermal. But again, it was very choppy low down, so it was very difficult to center in it. So I had to just be patient. Everyone went over the top of me, so I was kind of last. And then eventually took that to 1500 and then pushed on because it was dying and it was breaking up. I could see Tim, he turned, I was a bit higher than everyone else going into the first turn point. So I just eased up, I lowered my McCready setting and just took it easy and just be patient because there was nothing around after the turn point really. Apart from going back, Tim went completely wrong direction. I was thinking of going that way, but it was going the other way. The cloud didn't look that great, but when I turned the turn point and then looked over towards him, it was obviously better than I thought it was because it was much higher. So after that, I pushed on, joined the film, but I didn't push to get to the film. I just took it easy, got to the climb. Again, very broken, but once I got over 1600, 1700, it started to be a bit more solid. Again, playing a patient game with it, I could see everyone as I was turning, getting very low ahead. And the plan was to use that ridge to the second TP. Not too close to it, but just follow it just to get some reduced sink because they weren't working particularly well. And again, I then used my McCready about 2.5 and just sat there. And Tim had a good thermal ahead. I could see he was climbing well, and everyone else was struggling. So that was a really good thermal that got me up and caught everyone else up, and then just went to the second turn point. Then the decision then was after that, how do we get to TP3? So I thought I'd go back to that same film, take it top up like Tim did, and then continued on. But yeah, Tim was way ahead of us by then, doing his own thing. But for me, if someone said I would have come second at the beginning of that, I would have not believed them at all because I thought I messed it up completely, but I managed to pull it back. And that's purely because everyone else struggled and got stuck in the valleys. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I managed to get myself back up.
And at the end of the race as well, we've seen something very, very clever from you. You were much higher than the others. You anticipated much more the final glide, I believe, because then we've seen Arthur Duke, Wojtek as well, who had to stop. They were in front of you, but below. And when doing the commentaries of the race, we were like, yeah, okay, they are in front, but they don't have enough altitude now to reach the Pavullo at 850 meters. They're never going to make it. Sean is in a very good position. Arne Martin as well. You were all a little bit behind, but for sure you were both of you on final glide, which was not the case for them. for the four of them in front of you. So very well done from you. From your perspective, what do you think made the difference at that time? When did you take that decision to stop earlier to prepare yourself for the final glide? Yeah.
Well, I knew going into the third turn point, we needed to be high, so I managed to crest the lower mountains before TP3 to try and get as high as I could, but not too high. Just enough to get me through that and get me halfway up that through the valley. I knew I could crest it, but I knew that the clouds looked good ahead, so I bounced one and took a climb in there, not to the top of it, and then I pushed on again, and I got a 3.7 meters per second, which I took it all the way to cloud base, and I set my McCready to 2. I was only about 50 meters above glide, and then I just used my McCready, and obviously I got advantage just hitting the mountainside. I was hesitating whether I should take a cloud, but I knew when I set off, I knew I was getting hunted by the rest of the pack. So I knew I was on final glide, and I knew everyone would be chasing me, and I could see below that R2 is low below me. I knew Arnold was behind me. I could see him off my right wing, cresting the ridge like I was, but he was slightly lower and further back. So I was just keeping and monitoring him as I was coming back. But yeah, R2, they were trying to find a climb and Sol trying to push through. But I knew if I be patient and just stuck with it, instead of being chased and do something silly, I would have got back. The computer told me I would get back with plenty of height. So I just relied on that and just focused on that and forget about everyone else.
Great. And one last thing, we've said several times tonight that you're a really good pilot. We can see that, and you are very consistent over the races so far. Do you have a little secret to share to the others tonight? Competing, like, you've been really consistent, Sean, really, and always among the first throughout all the races, always in the leading pack and so on.
You're going to jinx it now for me, so tomorrow I'm going to become last.
I'm not hoping for that. Come on.
No, I don't. Well, I've been competitive throughout all the years doing Condor flying since 2005. Obviously, it's progressed a lot, and Condor 3 coming out. But in terms of this, I wasn't expecting to do as well as I have been doing. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I just try and maintain, don't make silly mistakes. Like you saw on the Sunday, on the Thursday, Tim was behind me. I was slightly higher than him on the final glide. For some reason, I decided to go right of track, a 45-degree track, and added 5K to my journey. I should have just gone straight ahead because I saw everyone below scraping around trying to gain height just to finish. And I thought if I go on the right side of the ridge, I might gain some height. But I had plenty of height because, as you know, Tim won that day. He was behind, or slightly lower than behind me. So, but I tried to just be conservative and just not get myself too low and just keep ahead of what's in front. But I try not to go in front too much. I try and hold back a little bit, but not too back that you're so far behind you're never going to catch up. And just monitor everything that's going ahead with the weather, the ridges and the weather window, just to make sure I'm planning I think before I do these flights, I go through and just see what the terrain looks like and plan how I'm going to approach it. And so far, it's been working out. So fingers crossed for the rest of the competition.
As you're saying, fingers crossed for you. Thank you very much for your words tonight, and congratulations so far for this amazing event that we're all living together. It's close racing, and it's all we want to see. So thank you, and please keep going for the show. And for us. Thank you. Good evening,
Thanks,
Sean.
Anton. Good evening. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Welcome back in the studio, everyone, for race 5 of this second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix with Norman and Jean-David next to me. So it's going to be a great race tonight, and I'm really looking forward to what we're going to have. Let's have a look maybe at the task. Today is a bit special compared to the other to the previous races, because it's the first time we are able to race again with the normal task from the Sailplane Grand Prix. They had a great race today with 160 168
8.
kilometers, sorry. So we can have a look at that now on the 2D view, I believe, with you, Jean-David, to present the race.
Yes, let's go to the view. Thank you, Tim. So tonight we are flying. We are flying on this region, so we are going southeast to the airport. Yeah, now you can see the pilots where they are and where Pavullo is. So for the start, it's the same start as we are used to. We are going then to TP number 1, Muraglione, for 81 kilometers. So it's down on the bottom right of the screen. Then we have a short leg of 12 kilometers, go to San de Tole. Finally, we go back close to the airport at Roca Montesere, which is a reporting point for 66 kilometers. And then we just have a short leg of 9 kilometers to the Pavullo arrival. As you said, Antoine, it's a total task of 168 kilometers.
One unique thing about that, if I chime in there, is that today's arrival height has to be 900 meters. That's really high.
Yeah, for the arrival, 900 meters instead of 850 meters. So it's already quite high with 850. We are not doing arrival straight on the line where the pilots can either land or do a low pass. It's always pass, not that low, which is like 300 meters above ground level, 300, 400 meters above ground level in Pavullo. And then they need to come back, turn right tonight to go on right and downwind for the runway 20 in Pavullo. A great race. As you said, we will do the same race as the real SGP. And there is one key point. We talked about Condor 3 2 days ago already, I believe. And we talked about dynamic weather and so on. And in the middle of the race, we are going to cross one valley with the highway going from Bologna to Firenze there and to the Magello Valley that you will see. We'll talk about it again during the race. And we could have split the weather into 2 dynamic weather zones in between the valleys there if we were flying on Condor 3 tonight. So now you can see already in the organization what we are thinking about, that what we think we can do for the next races in 2024 when the game will come out. So yeah, it's already so nice to be able to think about that, because in the real race it was so different in between those valleys today. So really looking forward to the release of Condor 3. Back in the race should start in 7 minutes approximately from now. We are just above the race start. Norman, where are the pilots today?
Where are they today? Well,
Yeah.
In Italia, eh? Some pasta on top and everything. I mean, Parmigiano. Now they're in the air right now. They're getting ready, folks, and they've been working on it. We just had a chat with them in the Discord group, which is a private group that nobody else can join but us as monetary, as moderators, as well as all the pilots. And they're all excited to have this race because it's a little bit of ridge race, but the power, the energy of the ridge today was only 12 miles or 12 kilometers of wind.
Yeah.
Is not enough energy to keep them up over the ridge, but might help them a little bit. But tactics will show. And look at it. Beautiful day. We have some cumulus clouds happening. Tough terrain. It's not an easy terrain to soar in, especially with light winds. So they really have to keep track on not landing out. And compared to the official race and the real life today, I think most of them made it. Do you have any information about that, of the actual race?
Yeah. They most of the pilots made it. Only 2 of them had to turn back with the FES engine, so electric engine, today. So quite a good race, and they had 10 points at the end of the day for the winner. Jean-David, we can have a look very quickly to the weather on the left side of our screen.
The weather tonight, we try to make it as close as possible of the reality. So we have a cloud base around 2,000 to 2,300 meters from QNH. We have the wind at 12 kilometers from the southwest. The QNH is the standard one. We have 3/8 of cumulus and average climb between 1 and 2.5 meters. The wave probability is weak, but there is a quite strong gradient of wind when you are going up for a temperature of 22 degrees. There is no rain shower today, but in real life there were some, so we won't be able to model it tonight. But very interesting race. The lifts are quite less strong than the previous days. We will see what we will have.
Indeed, much weaker than the previous day. I'm looking forward actually to see the real average speed of those thermal, if they can climb at 1.5 or maybe 3 meters per second on some thermals. So looking forward to see what they have in the air. With Churchill, Norman, still the same nice gliders. A lot of them are personalized with skins from their country. So Churchill from the UK, so nice colors from the UK there. Is on second place overall, Sean, of this event with
For all
22, 21
sorry,
points.
Sean, if I might throw in again, for all the people who have never watched this, we are racing today the 18-meter class. So, and Sean Churchill has a JS318. So, what that means, guys, 18-meter class is a really strong, a very, very popular and very fast glider in the world, and so everybody has their own choices between the ASG 29 or the GG 800s or the JS1, JS3s, the Ventus 3, just to name a few of them. And Sean has chosen the JS3, and he's also very good in the standings, by the way. He's right now second in the overall after 4 days of racing. So Sean is definitely somebody to watch out for. He won yesterday. And
it was second yesterday. Second yesterday,
right.
very, very close, but Tim Madsen was the winner yesterday with a crazy race. Crazy. What I suggest, Norman and Jean-David, is that we have a look at the results from yesterday with the overall results, overall ranking. It's a new thing that you will see on the screen, Norman, in a few seconds. Small improvement from the World Series that we are bringing into this virtual SGP. Race results from yesterday. Tim Madsen, 1 hour and 52 minutes, so 3 minutes lead to get 10 points, 144 kph. Sean Churchill, Arne Martin Guttler on the podium. Vic Schoenemakers, Jarmo Karjalainen, and Wojtek Soltysik to get 6, 5, and 4 points. Arthur Zuk, Thomas Meyer, and Stuart Henschel closing in with 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. Very close between all of them. The leader of this ranking is Wojtek Soltysik from Poland with 22 points. Sean and Tim have 21. Zbisek, race winner as well, 18 points. Arne Martin and Vic with 15 points. Jarmo holding up with 14 points. They are all still in the race to win the championship. Arthur Duke, Vitol Rozak with 9 points, and we are hoping some points for Donna Pierluigi, Darius Gudjunas, and Kelvin Van Balen, the last 3 pilots who did not get points yet in this competition. Looking forward to that. We can get back to the race of the day, race 5. Norman, they are getting ready. The start should start in about the start should be open in about 2 minutes from now.
1 minute and 15 seconds.
And now it's getting tight, guys, because you want to really hit that start line that we can see right there in the shady grayed out area. That's why you want to go under the start line and hit it at the perfect timing. Not too fast. Don't be ahead of yourself, but don't be too late either, because this is GP racing. It's like Formula One. You want to be, when the light goes green, you want to be at the start line and off you go, because first come, first serve. And if you're behind it, it's hard to catch up, because these glider pilots as well as planes are so strong and so equal. This is going to be a really interesting race today. Once again, I'm looking forward to actually being here and watching the start moment for sure.
No, Jean-David, how much time do we have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Great. We're going to follow the countdown with you. In just a few moments, the pilots are getting ready for race 5 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Amazing race today.
15
And
seconds.
as you can see, they're all coming close to the line because they all know that it's only 15 seconds left to go, and they all want to be ready to go. So that at the start height, the minimum
5,
start height today
4,
is
3, 2, 1. Gate is open. Race is on.
and off they go. There it is. And first one over the line looks like, who do we have there? Everyone is, hard for me to see. It's, okay, here we go. There it is.
So 1,700 meters maximum today to cross the start line for the pilots. We can see Darius taking the lead, Delta 9, followed by Cuba on the right side of the screen. You can see it's very cloudy today. They will need to be careful with those cloud penalties that some of them have had the previous days. Zbisek, of course, from Poland is there behind the pack. And yeah, obviously Benfest once again needs to take points because he only has 6 points overall, and he needs to defend his reigning world champion title. So he needs to defend the crown in this week race.
It is so beautiful to see, and during a GP racing start, this is the most riskiest time to be in the air because all the Planet pilots are all with you at the same time, and everybody wants to be at the start line. So a very precarious moment to get going. But we see right now D9, Delta 9 is going up. He might have found a little bit of a thermal, and let's see if everybody else joins him or not. And ZBY is going, everybody's going to the thermal. So it's a big thermal, 20 people in the gaggle. 20 planes. You have to really watch out not to crash in these moments when everybody is so tight.
I can see Arne Martin joining from below. KMI is there. Tim Madsen, winner from yesterday and from race 1, is there, the Danish pilot. Very good, very risky, those first thermal, Norman, you know it. You need to avoid those mid-air collisions. It's very difficult with all of those gliders here. They need to be very careful and to look inside the thermal always to make sure that they are safe here. So very spectacular to watch this first thermal. Why? Because after that, there are not a lot of options in front of you. Going to turn point 1 that you can see at the background on the screen. Probably they will have to go next to the ridges there and to do maybe a detour. That's what Sebastian Kawa did in real life, as well as Stilo Ali goes today. So looking forward to see what's going to happen in the next few minutes. If some of them are going to choose to go right straight in the valley or go to the ridges. Because as you said, Norman, the ridges are okay, but they are not exceptional today. They are not going to gain a lot of energy. They are just enough to stay in the air, but not enough to climb. So it's going to be interesting to follow.
Right. And here we are seeing one person, Julia Kilo, on the right-hand side, is taking a different strategy. He does not go for the thermal. He's going on to find and fly his own way. And that's maybe a good option because if everybody does the same, you're always behind. But if you find something, and there he is, Jaromir Kajalanin, he is taking another cloud. He is trying to fly his own race, and this may or may not work out. But again, it's just the beginning of this race of the 168 kilometers, and looking forward to see how he goes with that strategy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Norman. I don't know if you saw the race of yesterday, but Tim Madsen did exactly the same thing. He chose an important decision at turn point 1, and that's why he has a minute of advance at the end of this race. A very important decision at a key moment, and this is it. He won the race quite easily yesterday.
Right. And as we can see, so we can watch around the average vario rate is 1.5 to 1.8 in uprising air for Arthur Zucker. And we'll see if Juliet Kilo will find something better once he reaches the next cloud and see if it makes sense or not. And that's a really good way to compare this right now. And to fly with 19 pilots and gliders in this gaggle, man, your head is going left and right all day long, because you cannot just look at the instruments, because somebody might just out thermal you, come from below, or somebody slow from above. And man, this is exciting, beautiful, and yeah, there you can see it. This is incredible view right there. Love it. And to fly with 1 or 2 or 3 in the same gaggle is one thing. To fly with 19, that's world class in itself. So wonderful to watch. And I love this about Condor, that we're able to see this from this perspective, and giving you all this view of how does it feel like to fly in the virtual world. And it's not much difference, except in the real world, you wouldn't see the blue name tags on top. You would have to read it. Kind of like, what is it? Okay. But, this is great. And we have somebody leaving a gaggle, as we can see. He took off. He says he has enough height, maybe to go.
So we are with Arne Martin Gutler from Norway. He has a great Twitch channel, AM Gutler, that you can follow, where he's live streaming all his races. So that's really good, because we can just take his stream and show it to you, the online view from Arne Martin. And there we go. Some pilots have decided to leave the pack. Sean Churchill there, our second overall, with Darius Gudjonas, and Jarmo Karjalainen is here as well. We've seen it. He's there.
Yes,
Jarmo.
Speaking about Jarmo, the fan club of Jarmo has raised their hand in the comment. So there's a lot of comment already in the different chats. We are live in YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So don't hesitate to send us a comment to say hello. We have Kekeleku, we have John Davis, Frank, Yane, we have Halil, we have Wind Whisper, and Emiville. So welcome everybody for this race. And as usual, the Jarmo team, go Jarmo. Greetings, Norman. Good to see you, Norman. It's for you, this. We have already a question just about curiosity. How long it takes before starting this live? How much time you need to spend to getting things ready?
The whole day.
The whole day, yeah.
No.
2 years. 2 years, no?
Yeah, 2 years of work. No. Yeah, we've been working for quite some time now, already 3 years doing this all together. But actually, in such an event like the virtual SGP over a week and so on, for me, it's the whole day, the full day of work, because in the morning when I wake up, I have the briefing. I receive all the briefing from the real Sailplane Grand Prix, and then we need to decide with the task setter what are we going to do? Do we follow the real race or not? Then we need to try to set the weather. We have version 1, 2, 3, and 4 along the day. If they flew this afternoon, then you need to adapt the weather for the day after their flight once they arrived. You need to prepare all the assets for all the graphics and everything for the live streaming, and you need to have the follow-up ready to do all of that. And then you have all around a lot of email to send to gather all the people, to send all the news everywhere and so on. It's very busy, and for Timothée and Jean David and Norman as well, it's quite busy, because then we are getting ready approximately 2 hours before each stream to make sure that everything is working and so on. And sometimes everything works perfectly. It happens to us on the first races. Everything is ready, and then suddenly you start and there is something not working. It's been working for 2 hours, but it doesn't work anymore. It is what it is. Welcome back, welcome the chat, and send us a lot of comments. We'll try to read them with Jean David, keeping an eye on everything there. Ask your questions. Norman is there as well, so go on the chat and encourage your pilots for tonight. Back in the race with Norbert Kiss. Let's go.
So we could see that Julia Kilo on the right, that's right behind the yellow line right now. He actually chose okay. He's not far away. There he is. He is ahead of everyone, and he's not too low. So he seemed to have found a decent thermal. And we missed that because we were talking to you guys, explaining us how long it takes to get up and running on this World Wide Web that we're in, and streaming it for you. And but he seems to be, Jarmo is really good right now. And he's heading for the next cloud, even though there's none to be seen. Interesting. I like to say hello to all these guys, and somebody saying TKM, huh? Timo, Matzen, yeah, go Timo, right, right. There he is, and he's number 3 right now in the overall ranking. Very strong, very very good pilot. Also have a very good stream on YouTube, and you can see him almost daily. He's flying so much on Condor, and these guys are really really dedicated. I mean, talk about spending time to be the best pilot in the world, and there's his stream right there. Super nice to see, and I have flown with him. An incredible man, very dedicated to his sport, and if you have nothing else to do, you can always click on Tim and say, "Let me take a look what he does," and you always see it. I love the colors of these designs, the flag designs on the gliders. It's so incredible, good looking. I mean, wow, dig that for sure. There it is, the Danish flag, the Denmark plane. Love these designs. I'm always impressed. I wish the real gliders would look like this, huh?
Me too. Some don't like that. They don't like to see colors. They prefer full white gliders and so on. But that's their opinion. I respect that. But for us and for the viewers, it's much easier to see the pilots. You can see straight away that it's Benfest here with the colors from Germany. It's quite easy for us to follow. So
the
yeah,
reigning world champion, if you don't know, Ben Fest. And then we have another German, Joshua. 2 Germans here.
Yeah.
And different design, but still quite obvious. Black, red, gold is the colors of the German flag. And that's the beauty of this. We can exactly see who it is right away. We don't have to guess. And that makes it easier to see and follow. And here's the Australian. Red, David Redman. Very nice pilot and gentleman, for sure.
Yeah.
Good people all around. I mean, wow.
Yeah, top guy. Vic Schoenemakers from the Netherlands here. He's made his own livery with the lion from the Netherlands on the tail that you can see here, and the blue colors, really great. And yeah, Jarmo, you've seen the races previously from Finland. He has a livery as well, but I think he just forgot to put it today. It happens quite often that you just forgot to click and so on because you're busy with the race, thinking about all the details, and it's just one small click. You need to choose the right livery and so on. And I'm the first one to forget about it, so it's no big deal. But yeah, I hope it's gonna continue like this, doing good racing. We have 2 packs, Jean-David. Seems.
Yes, since the beginning of the race, they took a first thermal after the start line to climb a bit, and now they are all in a long straight line to find the next good lift. I think they are all trying to reach one and the same cumulus, or at least they both have one cumulus to reach. They know what to expect from the cumulus images, and depending on these images, and know if the cumulus looks like good or not. And I think it will be like that until the end of the first leg.
And that's again another strategy in GP racing, is that the leader will lead you to the next cloud. It will show you. And if you have your instruments right, you can actually see how much he's going up or not. And you can choose, I'm not taking this, or, oh, I definitely want to get there quickly to join that thermal, that gaggle. And that's since all the gliders are very similar, that's was the glide ratio in the thermals. It gives you a really good opportunity to watch what the other guy does. And if you like it, you follow. And if you don't like it, you add on and continue. And as we can see right now, everybody's here getting a green arrow. That means they found something, a new thermal, and they are going up.
So as you can see on that 2D map, just like yesterday, we have the wind indication on the top left of this map. So the wind is coming from the 212 degrees, 12 kilometers. So it's coming from below. It's coming from here. So it's not that great. They cannot go on the ridges. Yesterday it was coming from the north like this, so it was quite okay. But now it's coming from the other side. So it's not really good for now to go on the ridges. They will try to go, you see, on just this ones. Let me raise my hand just here. I think they will go just there on those ones. for GKK for and GHK, so Stewart, Sean, and Yarmo, they will probably try to go there. For the others, they're staying in the valley, in the middle of the
And
valley.
here's again a strategic moment. You know, the one in the valley are basically on the right, on the windward side of the ridge, and the guys who are coming from the other side, they're going to be on the leeward side, so they might create more
Downdraft.
downdraft and sink. So it's a risky moment not to stay in the valley.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see how this is up. And again, this little bit of ridge movement will help maybe to give less sink, not updraft, but less sink. And but if you're on the wrong side, that's more sink. We'll see how this is playing out. We're just in the beginning of this race, and today is really about finding the right clouds, which is really nice. So it's not just full on the Imola in Italy, like full on racing straight lines. This is really more about let's find the right cloud.
So we're gonna be in the Mugello Valley, and we went there 2 days ago as well when Chris from Condor was there with us, and Chris has worked in Formula One before, so explained us. We were seeing a circuit down there, and it was like, oh, that's the Mugello track. I know it. I know it. And it was quite funny. And I think we're just gonna fly over the Mugello circuit today once again. So it's going to be very great to follow, and for all the fans from Formula One as well. So yeah, great to see. Stewart and Scholl from the UK. He's done good races as well, very good races. Followed by Sean Churchill, both flying a GS3 in 18 meters, obviously. 170 kph. They cannot go too fast today. The weather is weaker than yesterday. Looking forward to have the real average speeds of those thermals. It seems like 1.8, 2 meters per second for the good ones so far. Don't think we will get 3 meters. Maybe later on with the small ridges giving some more energy to those thermals that are just next to them. But we will see. I'm really looking forward to see that. The speed for today, we will see. I think it's going to be 1 hour and 45 minutes for tonight. We will have a
here
look.
you can see. Sorry, you can see that Sean actually gets some lift, quite a bit on the ridge. He is flying 1.8. He's been going up and up and up, so that's really really nice. So he actually caught that uplift, the updraft from the ridge, and he's pretty close to the ground. If you look at it, there's not much space left between him and the trees, and it's all forest, so there's not much area to land out. So it is risky what these guys are doing, considering. And but they found some good rich parts.
Yes, and now they continue, and you will see they are joining the valley, and we see the highway. I think it's the highway just next to them, just below. You can see it's kind of a S there. I think it's the highway coming from Bologna and going to Firenze via Mugello, and that's where today in the real race they had two separate air mass with bad conditions on one side and much better conditions on the other. So it's interesting because, yeah, as I said, in Condor 3 we could have split the weather in two dynamic zones to create a much more realistic race today. So really looking forward to 2024 to have some races on Condor 3. Really looking forward. Darius Gudjunas, he didn't score points yet, but he's been really consistent. I don't know if you remember, Norman. He was in Australia and he's won the virtual Sailplane Grand Prix in Australia with raining almost all the races. It was crazy. Super consistent guy, always at the top and winning by 1 or 2 minutes. It was absolutely crazy to follow back in January 2023, and didn't score points yet, but he will score for sure. Maybe today is his day, and I hope that for him, obviously.
That'd be nice, and looking his beautiful colors on his glider, definitely. He deserves to get some points. Maybe in the first, huh? How about that? Get them 10 points and go up. And if you look at the scoreboard, the overall scoreboard, everyone almost at least half of the group can basically score. If they win for the first time, they could go up to the top, or very close to the podium. So this race, we're in day 5 of 7, correct?
Day 5 of 7, indeed.
Right. So there's 3 more opportunities to score, and so nobody is sitting pride in their nestles and saying everything is good right now. No, it's way too tight, and even for Dario or David Redman right now, who's in 10th place with 7 points. If he scores 10 today, he's going to be up there, very close to the podium. Everything is possible.
Arne Martin Guttler, from Norway here. That's his own skin. So Norman, you may not know, but Arne is flying in real life as well, and he's bought this glider, a GS3 RES. So he's the lucky owner of this glider, and that's his own livery. So he's flying with his own identity in the virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. That's quite cool to watch and to follow. Quite a unique livery as well. So he's there and joining the ridges north of the Mugello track here. Really great. Leading the race now, we have Jarmo Karjalainen, Stewart Henschel, and Sean Churchill, followed by Darius Gudzinas from Lithuania. And then we have David Redman and Arne Martin Guttler.
Right.
I've seen Benfest higher as well. Yeah, that's it. Benfest is higher. So Benfest has a good advantage here. He's in a much better position than David Redman and then Darius. So great flying so far from the world champion.
Right. And to go back to Arne, I don't know if you remember, but Arne Martin Guttler helped me to, in real life, get my radio, my Becker radio that's now in my old little Labelle. And he helped me to, their club in Norway uninstalled the old radios. And I was fortunate to buy the old radio from them and got shipped over to the US, to Florida, and I installed it and it works. So thanks, Arne. And, a secret extra button for you. Yes, you're going to win, Anyway, but yes, Benfest looking really good and really high here. So he had a good thermal earlier, and it's now catching up as the top 5, and see if it's going to play out. But I did see, I think it was David or something, who was really close to the ridge and getting some lift there. But Vitold, also another big racer in the world of virtual soaring. Wow. But they found something here.
He's one of the best, Vitold. One of the best. He was second at the first virtual Sailplane Grand Prix final. So he wants to improve with his 4 Polish boys there. So there are 5 pilots from Poland in this world final. Very good group, flying quite often together, and he's climbing with the guys. So good position for Vitold here with 269. That's Donna Pierluigi, the Frenchman who needs to score some points today as well. Best of luck to you, Donna Pierre, once again, and to Vitold and to Benfest. Hopefully, we're going to have a great race and other winners tonight so that we can have the ranking even more tight until the end of the week. That's the goal for us. If we can have that, that's great. The 2D view with you, Jean-David. Where are we?
Yeah, so we are in the middle of the first leg. Now the pilots have reached some small ridges right here, which are well placed when we see the wind. So they try to catch up, not lifts, but less think than we can expect in the other position. And we are now seeing that they all are grouped together on this ridge because it seems to be a very good option right now. Nobody has took so very important decisions. They are all following up the leaders, and maybe we will see other decision after when we will go to turn point 2 or turn point 3. Right now, leading Jarmo, following Stewart Henschel and Sean for the 3 first pilots.
But you can also see that they are low on altitude, right? So we see the gaggle right here, they're all going up, and the top 3 that you just mentioned are all about 1,200, 1,300 meter low. That's why they're ahead. But they've been ahead. They've been ahead through the entire leg. So it seems to be working for them. But now we're coming into an area that becomes higher and higher. So you have to create more altitude to be able to get to turn point 1, because it seems like the mountain's getting a little higher here. And we'll see if Yamo will find some good lift right there. The clouds is coming up to him right on the edge of the ridge of the mountain, and it might be a good one for him. If he does, he is in good position and not just low, but also high. Let's find out what happens in the next minute or two. You see the shadow on the cloud on the mountain. That's the cloud shadow from that big old fat little cumulus cloud that's sitting there. And let's see if that has carry some good updraft for him. And if it does, he is in a very good position for sure. But he's getting low.
Vic Schoenemakers from the Netherlands back in this race, holding up with the leading pack, Benfest and Donapier at the top with Vitold, and then it's splitted into two groups with Vic Schoenemakers, Arne Martin Guttler climbing there, Delta 9, Wojtek Soltyzik, Arthur Duke, the Polish guys are there, Joshua Arndt as well. So yeah, Benfest is going to leave this thermal in a few seconds. He's going now, obviously. He doesn't want to get into the clouds, because if you go into the clouds even for 1 second, 1 second means 10 seconds penalty. So that's quite a lot. Some of them has had those penalties 2 days ago. They don't want to do that again, because then when you have 10 pilots coming in 22 seconds, if you get 30 seconds penalty, you can come from first to last, well, to 10th, and you get no points. So they need really to be careful with those penalties. We've talked about it already, and they know it. We thought, be careful when pulling out of the clouds.
The cloud base at 2,100 meters, and Jamon was at 1,200, 1,100. So that's almost 1,000 meters, or 900 to 1,000 meter height difference. That's quite a bit. That gives you quite a bit of energy to soar on to go to the next turn point. So that's good to know. Cloud-based 2,000 to 1,100, and I'm surprised he went as high as he did. But he knows that the next, getting to turn point 1, you can see that the mountains are getting higher. So you want to be high, because you don't want to scrape on the mountain itself. That's just too risky, and that's his way of going. Safe. He's always safe. He always goes safe. He always goes high. And he usually shows up very strong. Then all of a sudden, like, oh, where did he come from? So.
Yeah, in the chat they are worried about Tim Madsen. SBL send us a message. How is going Tim Madsen, because he was not in the past goggle. Yeah, right there. He's a bit late compared to the other. But we will see. He's able of everything. We all know that.
He's not in the top 10 so far. Huh? Not in the top 10, so he needs to hold up and to continue flying. Yesterday, he's done his flight on his own. Brilliant flying from Tim. Yeah, we will see what happens. He can catch up quite easily, I believe, and he can do his own choices and just drop all of them behind as well. So I'm not too worried for him so far. Jarmo Karjalainen climbing with Stewart and Scholl here at 64 kilometers flown, and the distance to turn point 1 is 81 kilometers. So they are at 15 kilometers away from turn point 1 right now. So it's quite good for those guys. Donna Pierluigi, 1,935 meters. They're going to join them. As you can see, the turn point 1 is not far enough. Then turn point 2, and we head back towards Pavullo. It's going to be a fast race. They need to climb well to take the best thermals today. There are not a lot of thermals, but they need to climb very well. It's the key for today, I believe.
But you can see Luigi is coming up from behind, and he still has an altitude of 1,900 meters. And we saw Jamu with 1,200 meters, 1,100, just trying to get up. And so he's going to pass them, it seems like it, because to reach 700 meters of altitude gain, it's going to take you a few minutes for sure, unless you have a boomer of 5 knots or more. But I don't think this day is designed that way to have that much lift. So we'll see if scraping on the bottom will work, or if staying high and fast is the option for today. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Donna Pierre doing a great job. We are back with the 2D view. As you can see, a large group, widely spread is right there. All of them are here, Jean-David.
Yeah, the distance between the different pilots is rising a bit. It depends on the altitude. I've said, as Norman said before, we can see that Yarmo is right now quite low compared to the others. Just above me, you have the different competition numbers of all the pilots and their altitude. Here we are ranked in the dependence of altitude. So Yarmo is just 1,400 meters, and Sean is not so high, but Ben Fest is way higher. He's behind, but and maybe catch up the leading group with a higher altitude. So we will see. They are following the ridges as expected, and maybe we will be in turn point one in a few minutes.
And you guys saw Sean Hill with the Sierra 19. He took an early turn and did the thermal, and he is 1,500 meters, so he has a bit more safety line here for him, and he's going to catch up much better. But again, Ben Fest, the German, is at 1,800 meters right now, and boy, is he going to be good. Sorry, I'm rolling my chair is rolling to the left and right. I apologize.
Yeah, I can see there's quite some wind where you are right now, Norman. So just hold up there.
I just want to be closer. It's like a little closer. I'm sorry.
Chad Churchill is there. We are heading towards turn point one still tonight with Norman Chindowski and Jean-David Toby. Sean Churchill is there. Stewart Henshaw as well, leading two great cumuluses at least in front of them before going to turn point one. I think Yarmo is there as well. 1,300 meters. He will need to climb, I think, before joining that turn point. Sean is much higher than him. Stewart is taking one. He's going for a left turn to try to enter one good thermal. Benfest is quite high. We can say that Benfest is the leader of the race so far because his total energy is much better than those guys in front. So the total between the kinetic energy plus the potential energy for him, he has much more energy than the guys in front of him. He's gonna stop, I believe, if this one is good before going to turn point one safely. Turn point two is just next to turn point one, only a few kilometers to fly for the pilots. It's only 12 kilometers, so you see it's gonna be quite fast. And then we have 66 kilometers to go to the reporting point back to Pavullo, and 9 kilometers between the reporting point and the finish line in Pavullo. So it's gonna be a quick race tonight for the pilots.
Yeah, in the comment, I've asked the question, would you fly low to follow the ridges or high and safe on this first leg? And Kekeleku said he agreed with Norman here. Flying low on the ridges is quite a gamble. It's risky, but it's a huge advantage if you can maintain this altitude. Right now, we can see that Yarmo tried it until the end, but at the end, Donapierre Luigi and Benfest are joining him a bit higher. So the lifts he took before was a very good option.
Yeah, here and Donapierre is now passing Ben Fest with more height, and so Ben is no longer in first. It's Donapierre right now, and I wonder if they're going to take this thermal or not. I think Ben is taking it, and so is Donapierre. So Donapierre is right now in the lead with his 1,800 meters and going up. So there's a really good indicator how this race is going. And if you look at the height level in this thermal, you can see from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 who is in the lead. It's the one on the top that's in the lead in this virtual soaring Sailplane Grand Prix of 2023 in Pavullo. 269.
Leaving the thermal now, Donapierre Luigi, and I've seen Witold Rozak, WRW, just going very fast below Donapierre and Benfest before joining thermal. He doesn't want to give up on Ben. He wants to stay very close to him because maybe he feels it can be his day today. So let's hope for a good finish for those pilots at the end of the day. Sean Churchill still below with his compatriots Stewart Henshaw. I don't know if they are flying together, but they are flying close to each other for quite a few miles now. So very interesting to watch. Benfest is there on his way to turn that first turn point of race 5 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix.
And Ben Fest chose not to thermal. He just took 1 or 2 turns just to tank up a little bit, and he realized that ain't a good thermal enough for me. I want to continue. No. And so did everyone else. The people who came from behind with more height chose not to thermal. They just took that extra lift, pulled on the stick a little bit, sucked up the extra energy that came through the thermal, and went on, like we can see. But that's how it is. And Sean is also right there, which is nice to see. Sean Churchill. They're all just, this is great. This is great racing. So that's why the Grand Prix racing is so much more intense than flying the normal tasks, because this is who leads and is high is the leader of the race. And this is so easy to compare compared to doing a 2-hour window of the race getting going, which is it's easier for the pilots to find the better things. This is really about who has the best idea and the best strategy in the moment of the race.
Exactly, nice. Norman. Exactly. We are reaching top point 1 in a few seconds now, probably 1 minute for Benfest before turning that first turn point and turning right to turn point 2. Sean Churchill holding up there at 1500 meters. Very good flying, always consistent. As you can see, they are not flying so fast today. They are not flying at 220 kph, as we are used to see for the beginning of the race, but much more like 170 kilometers per hour now. So they know that the weather is weaker than the previous days, and they are being very careful not to fly too fast, I believe.
Well, it's still 170, 180K compared to a regular glider who flies like 100, 100, like 65, 85K. That is more the reality. But these high performance gliders like Benfest's Ventus 3, those can fly these speeds of 170K and make a distance of 168 kilometers in less than 2 hours. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what's going to happen without any problem today. Probably 110 kilometers per hour, 120 maybe for the finishers. That's what they should aim for tonight. They all know that. So 117 between the thermals and thermals with 1.5 2 meters per second to get more or less that average speed in 1 hour 45 minutes. So we will see what happens. Benfest here, reaching turn point 1. The German pilot at 1,631 meters, Mr. Benfest, the reigning world champion of this virtual Sailplane Grand Prix, is the first one today to reach the turn point, follows very closely by Donna Pierluigi, the Frenchman, and Witold Rosak from Poland. We have Sean Churchill below with Stewart Henschel. David Redman is still there, holding up at 1,500 meters. Vic Schoenemakers in the pack with Arthur Duke, Joshua Arntz, and Norbert Kiss behind them. TKM behind, KMI behind. All those guys, they are all packed there. Great racing at turn point 1. Everything has to be done to win this race, but Benfest has the lead.
So if people are wondering why they don't fly to the red and white pole, is because the cylinder around it, I believe, is 2 kilometers or 3 kilometer cylinder. That's, you only have to touch that circle. You don't have to fly to the center of the turn point. You only have to touch that circle to be able to validate turn point 1 and then go straight to turn point 2 as everyone else is. And again, we see different variations again of where to fly just straight to it or which way it is. Very wonderful to see everybody else's thoughts and ideas.
Yes, it's very interesting. Thank you, Tim, for this view. Maybe you can zoom a bit. So we are right now in race 5 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix. Most of the pilots just turn point 1, and 2 strategies can be seen right now. We have a lot of people, most of them, who are going straight to turn point 2, and we have on the other side Stewart and Jarmo, who are trying another path, maybe following these small ridges right here to follow the energy lines. maybe they trying something to gain some points and some average speed from turn point 1 to turn point 2, even if it's a quite short leg. We will see if it's pay when we will reach turn point 2.
Back with Wick Schoenmakers and Benfest here, going straight to turn point 2, only 12 kilometers apart, those turn points. Sean Churchill is there, trying for another cumulus before the point. But they are, as you can see on the right side, top right, some cumuluses for Ben after this turn point. He's going to have to turn right towards Pavullo again, followed by Witold Rozak and by Donna Pierluigi. Our top 3 for the day so far. Well done, 169 kilometers per hour. As you can see, always the same speeds. Huh? They all know that for today, it's going to be the speed in transition in between two thermals. They all know that. Maybe we can have a look quickly at the average speed to make our mind for the end of the race. Oh, that's quite fast. Much faster than what we expected, I believe. 133 kilometers per hour for Benfest without the finish glide, the final glide. So we can expect maybe 145 kilometers per hour, maybe 150, but that means the weather is much better than what we expected today. But that means as well that they fly really well, really well. They know when to climb. They know when to slow down in flight as well. Because I was like, maybe today some of them will just rush and go at 220, just like we're doing every day. But no, you see, they are all world-class pilots, and they really anticipated with the briefing they've had that today would be weaker and that they would need to adapt compared to the previous races. And maybe it's going to be the same tomorrow. There's going to be a new race in Pavullo. Turn point 2, Benfest still leading the race, turning towards the reporting point, which is almost 70 kilometers away. Donna Pierluigi from France following on second place, and Witold Rozak third place here. The full pack is behind. We can have a view of just behind us, probably. Thank you, team. You can see that that turn point that they need to touch indeed. And there is a new cumulus cloud forming, and they are all going for this one. As you can see,
sure.
in Condor, when there is a new one, it's going to be a very good one. They all know it. If you have 500 meters to climb, you need to go to the very brand new one, and they are going for it. Benfest, he knows. Donna Pierre, he knows. Vitor, they know. So no even no hesitation about it. They just go for that. We can have a look at them joining the thermal and maybe having an inside view from Arne Martin once he joins the pack.
I mean, we see Stuart Henschel right here had a pretty good vario indication of going up very strong, but he hasn't made it to turn point 2, and the wind is pushing him away from turn point 2 because of the 12 kilometers wind that he has are going against him. So it would have been, it's nice to go to turn point 2 first and catch that new cloud, even though it looked like it was lower compared to the other cumulus clouds. So I'm not quite sure how strong it really is, but the indicator, once we see of Arne Martin Güttler, if he goes in there or anyone else, see how they take this thermal, if it's strong or not.
I think, Norman, that's a key moment now because Witold decided to stop. He stopped in that thermal. Benfest and Donna Pierre were not happy, or maybe they were not very well in this thermal. They just stopped. Arne Martin is joining the thermal with Witold. So we're going to have a look at the average climb of this thermal. But Benfest and Donna Pierre, they left. So either Witold will take the lead afterwards with Arne Martin and the other guys here, or Benfest and Donna Pierre are going to take the lead in 10 to 15 kilometers from now. There's going to be a clear difference in between those guys, probably. Can we have a look? Yeah, Arne Martin, stop moving your head. We need to see
I am trying.
the variometer now. I can see 2 meters per second on the vario, probably 1.7, I would say. That's probably that, Norman. You cannot disappear from the screen.
Yes, please, Norman.
1.7.
Yeah. At this moment, Antoine, you are.
1.6.
1.6.
1.6. You've disappeared. So 1.6. You can see if they are stopping at 1.6, it means that the weather is not that good. Huh? But it was a key moment because now they can fly towards the ridges again and come back, which is not the case for Bedfest, who is going for the valley there in Mugello. We will see the Mugello track later on in 10 to 15 kilometers in that valley. Bedfest leading this group, and Vic Schoenemakers decided to continue and to take the next one, next cumulus. It's a risk taken from Vic, but he needs to win the day to be able to win the championship. Now Vic Schoenemakers is at 15 points, 7 points behind Wojtek, who is the leader overall. So yeah, he wants to take some more points. Very good flying yesterday, ended up in 4th position yesterday. So good flying from Vic. He's had one hot landing on 4 races, so that's why he's missing some points to be on the podium of that overall ranking, but otherwise, very good flying.
Okay, so back on the 2D view, right now 18 pilots have turned turn point 2. Just Yarmo and Stewart decided to stop before turn point 1, and they are now the highest pilots in this race. We can see that Stewart 1,800 and Yarmo is a bit lower, 1,600. After turn point 2, the decision has been made. Some pilots are trying things in front of the others. We have Vic Schoenemaker on the left and going straight to the ridges. We have Sean Vitold, we have Kuba also, and Arne Martin. A small goggle trying to catch a lift before going into the ridges, led by Donna Pierluigi and Ben Fest, who are quite high right now, 1,600 meters. So we'll see what is the best decision right now.
They go. If you look at Sean and Vitold and Anna Martin Güttler, they're all going back to the ridge that they came from, because it may have that little uplift that helped them to stay up and fly faster. So they're going straight back to that limit, to that same area. And even though they're getting low, but they're going to take that ridge lift, because if you stay like Kilo Oscar Echo,
yeah,
he's now choosing to go back to the ridge on the top. So very interesting choices. And we have also the other guys coming back from behind again, who thermaled before, Yamo, and they thermaled before. Now they have enough height. All the strategies seem to work today. It's such a very tight racing. Very, very, nobody's really leading this race at all.
It's really difficult for the pilots. They are all trying to take an advantage somewhere along this race, on the ridges, under the cumuluses, and so on. Just one question from Julien on the chat on YouTube. Hello to you all. Are Grand Prix task always using racing task with regatta start, or use AAT standard racing task, or is it Condor limitation? Thanks, and thanks again for the commentaries. Thank you, Julien. So yes, the Sailplane Grand Prix is very different from other type of competition. It's not the classic gliding competition that the people know. Sailplane Grand Prix is really focused on how to explain to the public the gliding races and the sport of gliding or soaring, depending on where you are in the world. So it's just always the same. Regatta starts, so all gliders start up front at the same time on the same line, just as you've witnessed at the beginning of this race. And the first one to cross the finish line is the winner of the day. We make it easy for everyone, for us, for the pilots, for the public. Only a very few penalties, very minor. So yeah, it's just to have a lot of fun and for the public to understand the races. So no AAT and no standard racing task, I would say.
Not for the Grand Prix. That's why it's called GP racing. And Grand Prix racing is always same start, same time, same line, rather than the standard that gives you the options of waiting, and choosing the right clouds for you to pop up. Time goes to zero, you better go. Every time you stay behind it, it's time wasted. And Week right here is taking a really risky approach, flying very, very low and hoping to find something that will lift him up, because he's at 760 meters. That is a risky approach to this, but he's hoping that cloud right there gives him the lift. Oh, look at that, 10. Come on, pull. What happened? Did I just see a 10 and he didn't take it?
Yeah, it's an instant variometer, so as it is not average, the values can be extreme, but they are now very realistic of what the lift can give in reality. So maybe just a small stop on the chat, because we have a lot of messages to support the pilots. Yane say, we trust you, Yarmo. It's kind of a religion. We say trust Yarmo. Alice Churchill say, go Sean. On the other chat, we have go Benfest and go Donapierre. A lot of pilots are supported by the comments. Don't forget to send messages to them, as they are all of that kind of messages. That's for sure.
We also have a comment on Twitch, and that's by Almost Sent It. With the Real World GP, SGP, in Worcester, it was somewhat bad with the small turn points, when one of them wasn't really reachable without climbing there for ages because it was on top of the mountain. There, it would have been good to take the 5-minute penalty for only getting within 1,000 meters instead of 500 meters. So there's strategies that he's talking about.
Yeah, so that's something we are being very careful with those turn points. So there were last year, well, for this series, 10 national qualifying Sailplane Grand Prix in real world, and the issue is that the organizers change quite a lot. Sometimes they organize a Sailplane Grand Prix 1 year and they do the next one 5 years later and so on. And they don't have time to understand all the rules and so on. And that's something we are really closely monitoring for those races. And we've had one example during one of our races here. When we prepared the task, there was one turn point that I noticed was, on top of a mountain. And I was like, guys, we need to modify that and to put it in the valley, because we need to have the guys being able to use all the strategics, all the tactics that are available. They need to be able to fly the way they want to fly. So we put all the thermals in the valleys to make sure that they can go as low as they want and use the ridges if they want that or not. So we are being very careful not to have those turn points on the mountains. And indeed, in Worcester, it was not the case for all the races. Why? Because we were replicating all the races from the real world. And if they do that, we don't modify that in the virtual world. So we ask them every time to be very careful, but sometimes on one day you forget about that rule or so on. It often happens, and local organizers as well tend to try to implement new things sometimes that we don't ask and so on. So we need to have a look every time and to correct, to pass behind, to say, okay, no, you cannot do that. We need to make things simple and so on. So it's always work in progress. And when the new team is coming, you need to explain once again the new rules and so on. So thank you for your comments. Indeed, it's something we are closely monitoring, and we don't want to see that in Sailplane Grand Prix. We want to have race and fair race for everyone, not something on top of a mountain that no one can pass through because of the weather or whatsoever.
Yeah, and speaking about rules, maybe viewers that don't know a lot of riding, gliding, flying, because he's asking, Ran Carlos, is it like sailing race in the FAI Sport channel?
Question for you, Norman.
Is it like sailing in real? Yeah, there is some comparison that you can make. We do look at the weather, and we do have the turn points. But as an example, if somebody, like, one of the rules that's very important is that when you start a thermal, and whoever started the thermal first, let's say they're going to the right clockwise, you have to follow that, right? In sailing, it's a bit different. You don't have that. You don't thermal. You just go with the wind. But there's rules that you have to follow. Compared to sailing, it is not the same. Not really. But many sailors fly, or vice versa. Many flyers have gone to sailing, one or the other. I can't compare it though. No.
Yeah, but maybe just on the rules of the competition, we can see a lot of racing in sailing. I can't remember the name, but with the boat with two floaters, it's approximately the same. There is start line at the time it's open. They have some points and some floaters to turn, and then the first at the finish line is the first to win. So maybe in this way, it's kind of the same. Speaking about
Yes.
rules only.
That's GP racing. Always the same.
Just stopping you for one moment. We are talking about sailing, but let's talk about Formula One and racing cars. We have Team Madsen in front of us, and we have the Mugello track just below. Just behind Team Madsen here, you can see the track of Mugello, very famous in Italy. Great moment for the pilots overflying this mythic place for Formula One. Tremendous races there as well. Great races for Formula One fans. Took place there on the Mugello track, and saying hi again, once again, to Chris from Condor if he's watching tonight. Great stuff with a small airfield just below Team. Yeah, just right there. That's an airfield for Mugello and for the helicopters as well, probably, who are filming the Formula One races. That's the track for you guys if you like Formula One. Thank you, Tim. Great. Maybe, yeah, if you're watching the live with us, we are at more than mid race tonight of this race 5. 45 kilometers to go with Arthur Zuk there, but a little bit lower. And I think it's time to talk about Trustmaster for a moment tonight, because as you know, there is something going on with Trustmaster, our partner for this event and the others. Someone from Trustmaster will come on Saturday for the last race. You will be able to talk with him. There are giveaway prizes. You can win one T16000M FCS OTAS on Facebook and another one on Instagram. You need to like, follow, share, and comment the post on Facebook and on Instagram. Do what you want, and we will announce the winners with the guy from Trustmaster coming on Saturday. Promo code FAI 15 if you want to buy something. We do not get any money for that, but we highly recommend to buy the one that is at 50 euros with the promotion, the T16000M. Just a simple joystick if you have 50 euros, or you can go with the joystick and the throttle, and maybe even the T-Flight Rudder if you have 150 euros, and you can buy that. You can buy Condor now. It's Condor 2. You know Condor 3 is coming out, but we've had Chris with us 2 days ago, and he said, yes, if you buy Condor today, no worries, you will be able to have Condor 3 for free as a free upgrade in the coming 6 months, because Condor 3 is coming out within 6 months now. We are aware of that. So if you buy Condor 2 now, because you never played that game and you want to try with the guys, buy it now. Try Condor now, and you will be able to have Condor 3 for free without any extra charge in less than 6 months when the new game is coming out. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think everyone is very excited. I've seen that on social medias as well and so on. So it's a great thing. We are really looking forward. And I can already announce that we will race on Condor 3, obviously, as from next year in 2024. Back to the race. Let's see. Do you have any more questions from the chat, Jean-David?
Yeah, the Almosante is asking for news from the Polish gang. So right now we have Arthur Duke, who is in front of the race because he's third right now, but he's quite low. He has to find a thermal to climb a bit. We are now with
Witold Rozak.
Witold Rozak,
Witold Rozak is here.
a bit higher.
And Wojtek and Zbisec are behind, right? Yeah. Go on, Jean-David, sorry.
No, you can go.
So with Zbisec Kos, he's won a race too, Zbisec. Really good flying, really good guy as well. Climbing in his GS3 and looking forward for Wojtek. Yeah, I can see Wojtek has left his thermal. He's a bit forward now. With Arne Martin Göttler, they are high to date. And yeah, I think they can all win the race tonight. Donna Pierluigi above Arne Martin there, all really well placed. Maybe we can have a look at Ben Fest. Where is he? Falling behind after turn point to right. Yes, exactly. So he's in that pack, but he needs to improve his flying now to get back in the lead of the race. He's made a big choice, a big decision. We talked about it. Maybe the key point of the race after turn point two, and now he's fallen behind a little bit, even if he's still high at 1,747 meters.
Yes, the
Again, I can
arrival
only
will
repeat.
be so intense. I think the difference between the pilots will be just a second. The 10 first pilots will be grouped in a few seconds. It will be very impressive to see, I think.
Yeah, I agree. This race is far from over, and it's awesome to see how each strategy of the pilot has played out in certain ways. Here we are. We've seen again Julia Kilo Jerome Joma being in the lead again, and he was behind, but he chose a different cloud. He chose a different strategy. So it's really, this race is incredible. Super nice to see that everything works right now. Nobody has won this race yet, at least not from this point of view.
I totally agree with you, Norman. It's very impressive to see that Yarmo and Stewart, who are leading the race right now, are the two pilots who decided to stop between turn point 1 and turn point 2, which means that this decision maybe was a key moment for them. It was a bit impressive for us, but at the end, it pays. So we are right now race 5 of the second FAI Virtual Sailplane Grand Prix, middle of the final leg before the reporting points. The pilots are flying quite fast than we can expect, and they are along this leg straight to the reporting point at different altitudes and different positions. We'll see at the end who is going to win, and yeah, the fight for just 1 point will be really, really hard.
Yeah, I guess so, man. At the end of the day, they are already crossing that valley with the highway. With the highway there, it's in gray on your map here, just right there. The highway going back to Bologna is right there. So yeah, not easy because tonight some people will win a lot of points and others they will be very close, a few seconds behind, but no points for today. So a very tight arrival that is coming in just a few minutes because they are flying, man, so fast. They are flying so fast. I'm like, oh my god. Just imagine if he would have had the 118 kilometers task yesterday. Just imagine how fast they would have flown that. It's crazy. To have a 2 hour task yesterday, we would have needed to put the ceiling really low with very weak condition and so on, and we would have had some hot landings, maybe some media collisions in the weak thermals. It was not possible to do that at all. And we talked to the pilots before the race, and they said, yeah, it was really a good decision from you on the organization side to do a real race yesterday, much more fun for everyone and so on. So they were all super happy to have another race than the 118 kilometers that they had in real. Stewart and Scholl, sorry, is there Arthur Zook a little bit behind? Much more. Yeah, he needs to climb. He's below Arthur Zook.
He
He's
is
stuck in the
very low.
valley. Huh? He's stuck in the valley here. Yeah. Vitold, much better for Vitold. Not that high, but much better. There's some shadow. Norman, you know that, in Condor, and probably a cloud. Just a few hundreds of meters above that shadow. So he's looking for a lift, probably. The last one, huh? You can see TP turn point 3 there. That's just the reporting point, and we are in Pavullo. It's super close. 136 kilometers flown out of 167. So it's just 30 kilometers to go. Now 30 kilometers to go for the pilots. They need to arrive at minimum 900 meters.
Somebody's dropping water.
Yeah, but that might not be a bad idea if you want to climb back and
Yeah, if you want to survive.
if you want to survive, if you don't want to outland and keep your chances until the end of the race, you need to get back home. Huh? If you don't come back home, no chance you can win the race.
Well, he needs to get above this ridge somehow, above over the mountain, and so does Jerome. They all have to get above it, and they're getting really slow to scrape over that little valley, and so they can
Yes.
find another opportunity to find another lift. This is very risky flying right now, and I don't think you'd be doing this in real life. Look at that! Oof, oof. Oh man, guys,
Well,
that's
that's
tough.
tough. That's tough indeed. Arne Martin Guttler is there, much higher, with probably the pack with Benfest and Donna Pierluigi. They were all together, and they are in a very good position to get that thermal, that last one, and to reach Pavullo in the first position, because those guys in front, the six pilots that we have in front, are in big trouble. Not even thinking about Arthur Duke in his valley there. So 7 pilots actually who are in big trouble. And we need to climb before reaching turn point 3.
Yeah, and
170 kph, man. No more than that.
yeah, exactly. And Kekeleko just said something very interesting. He said that just like yesterday, staying high is paying off. I think you're right. The pilot who take care of that are leading right now. So we will see. And John Davis say a lot of. He's encouraging Stewart. He can do it because he needs a lot of encouragement right now to climb. Go Stewart. Try to
And
survive.
somebody's
You can
flying
do
the
it.
opposite way because they have no lift. They're low. This man, this is like now we can really see that sometimes being a bit more patient and be more safe, fly high and fast, rather than low and fast on the ridge in these valleys. You have to get over these mountaintops, and if you can, you're stuck. And Ben Fest is showing, his patience now maybe paying off. Really nice. He was behind. Now he's in front or coming up. So, I. Looking at from this point, you can see somebody's in really trouble. 560 meters, A33. That's just, oh no. No,
KMI
absolutely.
1,800 meters behind for KMI. So I guess he's a little bit behind those guys to be that high. But we need to monitor that because he might just come over the top of everyone and phew, go straight to the finish line. It happens during the Sailplane Grand Prix races. So we need to be careful with that.
Oh, can we zoom out to find KMI? Is he somewhere that we can see him?
I
Because
think
he's
he's a
so high.
bit.
Where are he?
Yeah, he's
There he
there.
is.
Yeah.
We had to blip out. Okay, but
Okay.
he's going to come now. He has now the height. He is 500 meters above everyone, 400 meters, and he's
Yeah,
going to catch up.
yeah. I think he's gonna catch the guys, but it's not gonna be enough yet to jump over those guys. Let's go back to the 3D view because it's gonna be interesting. As you can see, yeah, they have quite some lead. He's only crossing the valley from Pavullo, going from Pavullo to going from Bologna to Firenze. So it's not gonna be enough. Great flying from KMI coming back, obviously, but I would like to monitor Delta 9 and the group with Donna Pierre and Benfest. So Darius is trying to climb, but as you can see, it's not easy. It's not easy at all today. Sean Churchill, second place overall, is there with Darius. Benfest is joining. Benfest is joining now, while Donna Pierre is on the left with the other guys. Yeah,
Nothing is
Donna
done.
Pierre is there.
Nothing is done. At the end of the race, just one lift, better than the other, can make the difference. And they are all trying to reach one. So make your bet. Who is going to find the best lift?
Yes, that would be great to know in the comments of the chat what's your bet for tonight, because it's very tight in between the pilots. So maybe we can all try to make a bet in between us already. Jean-David, what's your bet?
I would say, except from Antoine and me, because yesterday and the previous races we were not so good. So I don't want to.
No, go for it. We all try one for tonight. We'll try one.
Oh, it's the day of the Luigi. He flies safe all along the day, and this is more an encouragement than a bet, but go Donapierre.
Okay. Norman, what's your bet for tonight?
You're really gonna put me? This is called the commentator curse. to say who's going to win.
I know.
That's not a good idea.
That's what we have done. That's what we have done on race 1, or maybe even on race 2, and we failed completely. And
each time.
and the race changes completely after that. So maybe we're gonna have a massive a twist in during this arrival because of us. But that's why we're here. No, man. My bet is going
the
to be
evil one, yeah. I'm
My
going to
bet-
say Arne Martin Güttler. I'm going to work for
Okay.
Arne Martin Güttler today. All right.
Arne
There he
is
is.
next to Donapierre, they're very close. My bet was for best Benfest. So
Actually, I would have said Benfest too. Can I have a second option, Benfest?
yeah.
No, that's cheating. So in the chat,
Cheater! Ooh.
so in the chat, Sébastien Chaumontet say Donapierre Luigi is gonna win. We have also Almos Sente who's betting on Donapierre Luigi, and a lot of pilots in the chat saw the maneuvers a bit low a few moments ago, and they told us to say warning: don't try this at home. It's a good thing to remember for all the pilots that we are. And Kikiliku say jinx anyone. So yes, thank you for all your comments. Tell us who you are supporting on these final moments of the race and who your bet is on.
It is definitely.
Donapierre Luigi in a good position. I knew that.
But so is Benfest and Donapierre. They all seem to be in a good position right now. And where is the KTM? TKM, sorry. Where is our TKM? Is he coming from behind? Is he? Where is he at? Is he? Where is he?
In the back.
He's in the back, but lower.
They have stopped. Benfest and Darius have stopped. Let's wait a few moments here to get an average climb. Maybe we can go back to Arne Martin's view to have his average speed during that climb. What's the climb for Arne Martin tonight? And then we can try to guess what Benfest is taking now. It looks like a good one. He's trying to... Yeah, it's 2 meters per second, and he's flying for 2 meters per second. He has enough altitude to reach Pavullo, but not to reach Pavullo at 900 meters. So 100 meters are missing for him tonight, I believe. Or maybe we'll try now already, because he knows it's going to be very tight. He's going to fly a little bit slower, probably going to join Benfest. Maybe either he's aiming for that or joining in Benfest. Aiming for the turn point. He's gonna set the autopilot straight to the point, probably. Let's wait a few seconds. Arne Martin going for that. Benfest, where is he? Joshua Arndt started to go towards the line. It's not enough. He's going towards Benfest, maybe, or trying to climb. He's hoping for some... Oh, well done. If this one works well, maybe that's a good point for tonight. Maybe that's good.
Benfest in good position right now. We have some comments. Support to Vic. Vic will win. It's a bet. So after that, we have some word in the national language, but I can't read it and I can't understand it. So the message will be read, but not by me. Sorry. Yeah, Benfest, Donapierre, and Arne Martin. Great position for the 3 pilots.
152 kilometers flown, out of 168 kilometers, 16 kilometers to go. 15 now, 15 to go for Benfest at 1,200 meters. Is it going to be enough? Only 300 meters to do 12 kilometers. That might not be enough. We will see. Darius Gudjon has 1,200 meters as well. So they go for that option, and they will try to reach at 900 meters the finish line. A very good option taken by Benfest. Arne Martin and Donapierre Luigi are going for the reporting point as well. Same altitude. So we can say Benfest is in front for now. Oh, that's very close between Arne Martin and Benfest, actually. If we can have a look at Benfest views, well, Arne Martin is well placed reaching that reporting point. Very good.
Yeah, I have some news from the race, and unfortunately, it is very bad news for some of our viewers because Yarmo has outland. So unfortunately for him, he didn't manage to catch the good lift to climb a bit and to reach the reporting point that the others are doing right now. So go Yarmo, but for the next race, no points today.
And Benfest only has 200 meters left of height because the minimum height is 900. Remember, not 850. I hope he listens to this and knows that that's the key.
They are going. They are going for it, but they know it's going to be tight. Arne Martin Guttler and Benfest are about to reach the reporting point tonight. Very close to the reporting point. I think Benfest is taking the lead by a few seconds, and Arne Martin is going to be just behind. The sink or the uplift they will find in this valley is going to be very important for the final glide to know who is going to win this race tonight.
This is really close finish racing here. And well, Benfest is the first to go through the point of the turn
Yes.
point 3. And that is awesome. Arne Martin Guttler is right behind him, slightly higher.
Slightly
and then we
higher.
have Donna Pierluigi.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah,
That's intense.
that's going to be tight between those guys. Oh, Donna Pierre is well placed.
Yeah, he has more height.
La. 900
Benfest is
meters.
below both of them. This is interesting to see now how this is going to play out. If anybody is higher above them, not really. This is, wow. I mean, Donna Pierre is really stepping on it right now. It's like, I'm taking this as fast as I can. And he can pull up, with 200 kilometers per hour. He can always pull up to get that last meter or two to come back up to 900 meters minimum arriving height. Very close racing, very impressive all the way around. Wow.
So Donna Pierre didn't get any points yet in the World Final. Today, he's going to be able to score his first points and maybe go with 10 points straight away. 10 points, it's a very good thing to get back in the game with 2 races left after tonight. It will be a very good thing for him. Hoping for the best. Arne Martin just behind him, a little bit lower. So it seems difficult to catch up with Donna Pierre. Benfest cannot do more than what he's doing. Darius Gudjunas didn't score points as well. So tonight, first time to get those points for the pilots. Very well done.
Only 5 kilometers left.
Let's check just behind them. I feel that the whole pack is crossing the reporting point right now, and we might have some surprises among the 10 first pilots tonight.
Maybe
Donna Pierre.
just second the 2D view to see who just go through the reporting point. And we go back to the race in 3D. Yeah, just the pilot are stuck. Some of them are stuck behind. They didn't manage to catch the lift. And the most of the group is after the reporting point. Go back to the final glide.
To the 3D view. Let's go now. Donna Pierluigi, 900 meters. Let's see behind if someone is not catching up. Arne Martin is there. Maybe he will try to push and pull. Donna Pierre, 940 meters, 196 kilometers per hour. Benfest is behind below. Little bit behind, a little bit below. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
He needs to be careful with Darius Gudjunas, I guess. That's why he cannot push more. He needs to protect his third place, Benfest.
Okay, good altitude, good speed for Donna Pierre. Looks good.
Amazing to see. 900 meters. He's going to pull up right before to get above 900 meters. And boy, look at Arne Martin coming from below really fast, trying to catch up with him.
He's trying.
This is incredible. Now he has to pull up. Come on. Get to 900 meters. There we go. Oh, and Arne Martin.
Well done.
Incredible.
Well done, Donna Pierre. Winner of the day, Donna Pierluigi from France, followed by Arne Martin Guttler from Norway. Well done. Congratulations, Donna Pierre. Benfest finally getting on the podium on a race day. Well done, Ben. Followed by Darius Gudjunas.
Oh, he has not enough height. He has not enough height. He has to pull up. 900 meters now.
Just enough.
Just enough. Oh, just enough. Wojtek is behind. So first point for Darius Gudjunas today as well. Wojtek, who is the leader overall, gets a lot of points again, very consistent. Joshua Arns
For the
taking
final
some
points.
good points.
Oh, look at them, guys. This is by
that's cool.
milliseconds. Oh, I'm
He's made it.
speechless.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Vitold in front. That was
This is
Vitold
sick.
in front. Oh my goodness. Vitold in front. We have Thomas Meyer coming here. Tim Madsen. That's 1, 2, 3. I think yeah.
We have 9 people already through.
Yeah,
So
nine pilots. Yeah, exactly. 9 pilots already crossed the finish line. So no points tonight for Tim Madsen and for the other ones. David Redman crossing the line now. No points, unfortunately, for them. Sean Churchill is there. Wow.
Let's breathe, guys.
man.
Wow.
So, in the comments, a lot of message to congrat Donapierre. Bravo Donapierre. Someone said Savoie libre de franchir la ligne en premier, so Savoie is free to finish first. Bravo Donapierre. Congrats to the winner of the day, Donapierre Luigi. Fantastic race, well managed. It's a pleasure to see him on the first place. Going back to the overall race, scoring 10 points today. Fantastic finish.
Well done for your bet, Jean-David. A good bet tonight for once.
Hey, 3, 2, 1, right? As we're sitting right here. You were in third, I was in second, and you're in first. Awesome.
That's amazing. Exactly. So we did a good job. Donapierre is landing next to Darius Gudjonas there on the runway 20 in Pavullo. Ben Fest already on the ground with Arne Martin. They vacated the runway properly towards the hangars of Pavullo. Kuba, he needs to pull to 900. Pull. He's going to get penalties. He's going to get plenty of penalties, but he's not going to get any points anyway. So it does not impact at all his score tonight.
Pulled up too late, right?
Yeah.
What a fantastic race. Sorry to hear about a couple of the landouts, but that's how it goes. They took the risk and they didn't win. But yet, Week is coming in here as one of the last ones to finish this race. What a wonderful Grand Prix today here in Pavullo in the race number 5 of the second virtual Sailplane Grand Prix of 2023. And it's an incredible, I'm hyped up. I'm like, I want to do this. So thanks to Trustmaster for giving us the joystick and the rudders and everything. And thanks to Condor making this all possible. Super nice stuff. And thanks, guys, for being here. Great racing. Thank you. And that's what it's all about. This is what it's all about. That's why you putting in so much time and effort, Antoine, to make this happening, and Jean-Pierre, and of course Timothy in the background, and Sean. Thank you for doing all this awesome work to provide this incredible racing sport of soaring, and the FAI supporting us in this effort to make this real, to make this a real sport on the virtual world. Incredible work. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Yeah, it was amazing to watch this race tonight. Thank you very much, Norman, for joining us. It was a real pleasure to have you back tonight in the races.
I will try to be back tomorrow if I can. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see how it works out. My schedule is overly whelmed with things to do, but if I find another time tomorrow, I'll be back to do it again.
Okay. With pleasure, as usual. Norman, you're always invited to join and comment the races. Jean-David, thanks a lot as well tonight. Great commentaries as usual. Great team. Thanks as well to Timothée in the background. Jean-David, final words?
Thank you, Antoine. Thank you for all the viewers and all the pilots who are offering us a thrilling race today and an exciting finish. It was a great pleasure to comment and to live this with you. I won't be there tomorrow, unfortunately, but I will follow the race for sure. Have fun with me, and see you tomorrow, guys.
See you, Jean-David. We will leave you tonight with the highlights from this race in real. We have the highlights from the real Sailplane Grand Prix with the same race that took place today. It's a very short highlight, so just say a few more minutes to watch what happened today, and the win, obviously, from Sebastian Kawa catching up Stefan Langer and Thilo Ligos. See you tomorrow for race 6. Amazing race. So thank you to all the pilots, to the task setter, and to the whole team. We see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And welcome to the Sailplane Grand Prix. We are day 5, race 2, and we are with Brian. What about the weather today, Brian?
The difficult situation today was moisture in the air. We had a forecast of a lot of showers, low cloud base, and overdevelopment. So we had a shortish race going to the south from Pavullo.
But at the end, we can see that we are just before the start, like 20 minutes before, and the gliders, the pilots are really high, 2,500 meters. So it was a bit more optimistic than expected?
Only on the ridges here, and that was before the overconvection, when the moisture started to turn into showers as the temperature rose.
Okay, and today the start was with a limiting 1,700 meters, and you can see that it was a pretty smooth start for the pilots, with Didier Haus from France leading, but also Alberto Cironi. But there was a bit of concern because you can see the altitude of the pilots is lower and lower, and we had some doubt if it was a day which was possibly cancelled at the end.
But luckily they all quite quickly got into gear for flying low down, and they found their way through the low hills towards the first big ridges and to the first turning point.
At one point we are losing 2 pilots, so Lucas Indarzik and Giorgio Galetto, but the other groups of pilots are able to reach the big valley, but you can see the weather, it's difficult.
Yeah, overdevelopment and very weak thermals and a low cloud base made it very difficult to take the first 2 turning points.
But still they are able to reach the second turn point with Sebastian Kawa and Alberto Cironi, but you can see altitude again is quite low. And then Thilo is making the show.
And Thilo pulled away, and he just pushed on, lower, running the ridges in a very, very determined fashion.
So Thilo is leading, followed by a group of glider pilots together, and they want to reach some altitude for the next key point.
And it is this point that Sebastian really made a big leap. He moved towards the ridges and flew a longer distance, but along the edge of the ridges, and he started to catch up with Thilo.
And it's also interesting to see that Stefan Langer was making a complete different route to the north and catching a lot of altitude.
And Sebastian joined the group he had previously been behind, but he went immediately into 2 meters climb. And this was much better thermal than the other guys, and it brought him above them almost immediately.
And at the end, Sebastian is just before Stefan Langer, who is a bit behind and below, and he will secure a win for today.
The Sebastian was first to finish, and he was closely followed by Stefan Langer.
So we are just with Stefan Langer crossing the finish line, followed by Thilo Ligos on 3 Victor, and you can see also Alberto Cironi.
And Claire asked Sebastian when he landed what he was thinking about at the time when he was behind Thilo and Thilo was pulling ahead, getting lower and pulling in front of all of the other gliders in quite a spectacular way.
He gave us a lesson on the first leg, yes, and he followed the mountains, and he was faster than the gaggle trying to climb. So on the way back I decided to do the same. I don't know why, but after the first turn point I was able to catch up with the front, because initially I wasn't lucky enough that we had a bad patch in the middle of the first leg, and there was a ridge, and I don't know that area. I've been there for the first time in my life, so I don't know these mountains. But the decision that made me win was to jump to the one ridge left on the way back, and because there were fresh clouds, and the path that Thilo decided to go more straight was already in the shadow. So I, flying in the good air, was able to, although I did some kilometers, I was in a better altitude at the last thermal, and I got 2 meters, and they had not so much. So that made me win today. But I don't know what Stefan Langer was doing because he was very close.
And the winner today, a really excellent flight, he'd entertained us terrifically towards the end, was in his Ventus 3 from Poland, Sebastian Kaba.
Well done. Well done.
Sebastian.
Grazie a voi.
Well done, Sebastian.